Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. I am Wonder. I have another unboxing for you today. As you can see, this is the Tarot of the Abyss by Ana Torian. I recently got this. Look at that, Tarot of the Abyss. It is in a very hard clamshell box. It does come with a guidebook right here. It is pretty hefty. There are no pictures of each of the cards, but it does have, you know, the meanings themselves. She also, let's see here. She talks about the major arcana, the court cards, about this deck, what is different with this deck and how she did the interpretations. And then I think she included some, yes, so she did include some spreads here in the back, you know, like most do. So she starts off with how she would read the cards. She does give a little chant that she recites whenever she cleanses her cards. And then you can do daily draw. She has her 6-card spread. And then she has her abyss spread, which is this right here. I know some people really like spreads and things like that. I do not, but if that is something you like, she does include those in the back of her guidebook. Okay, so this is the back of the cards. Now this is going to be a full walkthrough, and I am going to mention, or you will notice, a couple cool little things that she included in here. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. Make sure you can see the cards clearly. So here we have the Fool. And these are no borders, which you know I love. These are all look like line ink drawings. I love this deck so much. This has been on my radar for quite a bit of time, but I just hadn't actually purchased it. The Wise One, which is usually the Hierophant. She titled this The Wise One. The Lovers. The Chariot. Strength. Hermit. Wheel of Fortune. Justice. And this took me a couple flip throughs to actually notice, but if you notice, in her eye are the scales. It took me a couple flip throughs to actually notice that the scales are in her eyes. The Hanged One. Now this is a really cool perspective. So this is how the card is, but if you flip it upside down, you see that it's a little scene of like a little cabin, some birds, a little field, maybe some crops over here. But it's supposed to be like that. Death. Temperance. The Devil. I really like that Devil card. The Tower. The Star. I do really like this card of the Star because for me, the Star is one of those cards where I can have sometimes a difficult time interpreting or even knowing where to go with it. But this one, to me, gives this feeling of almost yearning, of this like emotion that's like just out of reach. And I did just notice her hand down here is very large compared to like, you know, the rest of her. Huh. The moon. The sun. I am very much in love with this sun because it doesn't include a baby. Awakening. The world. Which awakening is, of course, Wheel of Fortune. World. And then we have Ace of Swords. Two of Swords. I love this 2 different masks type of thing. And then also, if you notice, she is kneeling on these swords. So she is, in my opinion, she is probably incurring some injury on her knees by kneeling on these swords, which makes it even more imperative that she choose what mask she wants to wear. 3 of Swords. And another 3 of Swords. So this is one of the cool things in this version of the deck. She has 2 different interpretations of the 3 of Swords. In this one here, we have a lady who, it looks like there's an outline of a bird on her chest here. The bird is in her hand. So that could be interpreted as her heart. And she has actually, like, her heart is about to fly away and go somewhere else. She looks very pained and very sad. The 3 of Swords here are not pierced through a heart in the traditional version of that card, but they are right there. This version, as you can see, he has a book opened with the 3 of Swords. His head is also open, and it looks like birds are flying out of his head and going down into the book and becoming letters. This is so cool and unique to me. And other reviews and other things I've seen of this deck, some people have just chosen which one they wanted to keep in. I'm keeping both because depending on which one I see in a reading or which one I pull or which one, you know, I would love to see which one actually comes up for me, and I can't wait to start using this deck. I haven't yet because I was waiting to do a full walkthrough and full unboxing with you lovely folks. But this one to me is like, you put your all, you put your heart, you put your soul into the things that you create. Now for him, he is creating either it doesn't seem like he's writing the book, but it seems like he's like reading it. So he's putting his all and into this, maybe this fantasy, maybe this perception of what he wants his life to be. And maybe it's not turning out as well as he would have hoped it would, right? And this one to me is, she's already kind of come to the conclusion of things, and she's letting her heart either fly away, which it does look like the bird is about to fly away, or she's letting her heart choose whether it flies away or it stays. I love this. Love it, love it. 4 of Swords. 5. He just has a little smirk on his face. 6 of Swords. 7. 8 of Swords. I love this perspective of the 8 of Swords as well, because in the traditional sense of the 8 of Swords, we see, of course, you know, like a figure wrapped around and then she's encircled by the swords. In this one, the swords are on the ground and they're almost leading her and like showing her the path. And if you notice too, one of her eyes is not covered by this ribbon or this fabric, if she would only open her eye, she would see the path leading forward. Nine of Swords. And then we have our next cute, interesting thing. So she has two interpretations of the Ten of Swords. Now I'll go into this a little bit, but I did film a short TikTok going over these two cards here and how I interpreted them. I will go into it a little bit here, but if you want to see the full almost 10-minute me talking about these two cards, you can go over onto TikTok. I will link my TikTok account down below, like I always do. But this Ten of Swords here, we have a gentleman who is lying prone on the ground. He has 9 swords in his back, and there is someone approaching him that has that 10th sword in their hand, okay? This one is an older gentleman, kind of a little like happy smirk on his face. He looks a little disheveled, facing off with an owl that has the 10 swords in its feathers. To me, these two cards show either end of this Ten of Swords spectrum, right? Over here you have all of these things have been done to him, and he's either, just waiting for that next sword to be pushed in, and he's watching, the person approach him with that sword, kind of anticipatorily expecting him to stick that sword in. And then over here, we have someone who is facing off with all of the swords that could maybe potentially be stuck into his back. Owls, of course, are a symbol of wisdom. They're a symbol of seeing things in the dark, seeing things in shadows. So maybe he is at that point of, he knows what he needs to do to accommodate those like swords. He's past the point of even being worried about them. So we have these two ends of the spectrum here. I love this. We'll also be keeping both of these cards in here. Page of Swords. Then we have the Knight. Queen of Swords. King. Ace of Wands. I love these line drawings. The lines give so much emotion and so much feeling, like to me, all of these lines, like his hair looks just like windswept, like he's standing on the beach or on a cliff or on the coast or up high in a tower, and you can just see him trying. I love it. Three of Wands. Then we have the 4. 5. 6, a little ballerina, arms full of flowers after a performance. Love it. 7 of Wands. 8 of Wands. I also really enjoy this interpretation of it because I think I've spoken of this before. The normal, and maybe I can find one here really quickly. Hold on, give me just a second. Because the normal showing or interpretation of the 8 of Wands has always, oh, here it is, has always perplexed me. So this is from the Morgan Greer deck. So this is like a normal Rider-Waite, the normal type of situation, that's happening here. And people and guidebooks and everyone, the most common interpretation of this is like momentum, moving forward, fast pace, moving forward, I don't get that from this card. I get being blocked. I get having obstacles. I get like having to overcome things that you possibly didn't see coming, right? That's how I have always interpreted this card. But for this one, I do get momentum. I do get forward motion. All of these, you know, geese and their formations, and they're moving forward. But if you notice, a couple of these geese are like not perfectly in formation. They look like they're, you know, maybe veering off a little bit. I love that so much. I love this card. 9 of Wands. 10 of Wands. Page. Knight. I just noticed this little figure back here almost looks like the actual Page of Wands that's in the background of him. Have to look into that more. Queen of Wands. The King. Ace of Cups. Very beautiful. So much emotion in that water that's, you know, being surrounding her. 2 of Cups. 3 of Cups. I love this perspective of you are the third person in this trio. You are holding a cup out as well. 4 of Cups. 5 of Cups. Now, on one of my flip throughs that I did on my own, I did notice, so these 2 cups here, they both have runes on them. And I looked them up. And if I remember correct, so I'm not big on runes, but I looked them up a few days ago. I should have looked them up again. I apologize. But basically, one is like sun and enlightenment, and another one is like memories and closure. If I remember correctly. But there's not any runes on these ones that are dropped here. Very cool. 6 of Cups. 7. I love this interpretation that her head is so full of options and so full of possibilities that, you know, she's having a hard time coming back down to earth and making a rational choice of these cups that are down here. 8 of Cups. 9. 10 of Cups. Again, you are in the perspective that that's you. You're holding her hand and being led to what looks like a very little cozy house, and you have a child. Page of Cups. Knight. Queen. King. Ace of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles. Then we have the 3. 4. 5 of Pentacles. And this can almost be seen as either they are like welcoming them in, but you can almost interpret it too as them just like yelling and screaming and maybe throwing them out. Could be interpreted either way. There seems to be a few people in the windows up here watching all of this happen. 6 of Pentacles, 7, baking some loaves of bread, 8, 9 of Pentacles, 10. I love this. The hands and like the tree root is coming down. See the family there, the home, all of the, you know, like fruit bearing tree right here. You got the steps up here. That's very, I like that. Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. As you can see, he has a key right there. He's wearing the key in this one. So in my mind, the page has, and you can also almost see that, you know, that person back there is that, you know, the Knight of Pentacles. Maybe he came upon, you know, the page, and the page had found the key and he felt it was time, or felt the need to give it to the Knight of Pentacles, and now he wears it around his neck, maybe. Queen of Pentacles. She's maybe used the key to unlock that door. And then we have the King of Pentacles, which I don't see the key in this one. I'll have to like look at it a little deeper, but King of Pentacles. So that was the full walkthrough of Tarot of the Abyss by Ana Torian. I love this deck. I cannot wait to dive deep and work with this. This will probably be one of the decks I work with next month, and I am so excited. Thank you all for stopping in and watching this video. Please remember to like, subscribe if you enjoy my content. Thank you so much for stopping by. I wish you nothing but blessings and growth, and I will see you next time.